Greetings, dear friends. Did you know that in the Diamond Sutra, one of Buddhism's greatest scriptures, there's a classic dialogue like this? Buddha asked Venerable Subhuti, "Are there many grains of sand in the Ganges River?" Subhuti replied, "Of course, there are many." The Buddha then asked, "If someone takes all their possessions, as numerous as the grains of sand in the Ganges River, and gives them to charity, would that be a great merit?" Subhuti answered, "That would certainly be an immeasurable merit." The Buddha then said, "I have a kind of merit that is greater than this. When you attain enlightenment and explain the Diamond Sutra, even just the four most important lines, to sentient beings, helping them to awaken, that is truly immeasurable and boundless merit." So, what are those four lines? The first line: if a bodhisattva still has an attachment to the self-image, the image of people, the image of sentient beings, the image of a lifespan, then they are not a bodhisattva. This means that if a bodhisattva is still attached to images such as the self-image, the ego, the image of people, discrimination between people, the image of sentient beings, discrimination between different kinds of beings, or the image of a lifespan, attachment to the idea of eternal existence, then they are not a true bodhisattva. The self-image is attachment to personal views and subjective opinions about oneself. The image of people is when we constantly judge and classify others based on their appearance, personality, or abilities. The image of sentient beings is discrimination between species, status, or social class. The image of a lifespan is clinging to the notion of immortality, wanting to leave a lasting legacy. These four kinds of images encompass all forms in the world. If you are still attached to these images, you cannot become a true bodhisattva. Sentient beings, because they are attached to these small thoughts, give rise to suffering and endless reincarnation. To escape this cycle of reincarnation, we must break our attachments to these images. Only when we overcome afflictions will they instantly vanish. The second line: all who seek me in form, or seek me in sound, walk a false path, and cannot see the Tathagata. This means that those who worship me immediately upon seeing me, or pray to me immediately upon hearing my voice, are deluded, attached to form, following a false path, and can never see the Tathagata. Many people burn incense and worship everywhere, but their hearts are insincere, and it is all in vain. If the Tathagata is in your heart, you can see him at any time. Conversely, if you don't have him in your heart and only seek him externally, you will never find a response. People must know to turn inward and seek within. When facing difficulties, understand that only you can save yourself. Only you can find the answer. Others can only give you advice or suggestions, but the decision must still be made by you. At the same time, when wanting to practice and advance, rely on the teachings and learning from others. Don't isolate yourself and avoid the world. The third line: all that has form is illusory. When one sees that all forms are not forms, then one sees the Tathagata. This means that all forms we see are illusory, not real. If we clearly see that these forms are not reality, then we will see the Tathagata. The Tathagata here is not just one person, but the ability to see through the true nature of all things and phenomena. Once we can see through the surface to see the truth inside, we will attain enlightenment. What we see on the outside is only temporary, not genuine. This does not mean that people or all things do not exist, but that everything is only a manifestation of our consciousness. If we can maintain our original mind when seeing external manifestations, we will not be deluded by them. The more you place someone in your heart, the harder it is to see them clearly, because they already reside in your heart. Only when you are not attached to form, not attached to external manifestations, can you see the true picture. The fourth line. All conditioned things are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, like dew, or a flash of lightning. Thus you shall contemplate them. This means that all conditioned things in the world are impermanent. We often consider them real, but in reality, they are all illusory. Only the unarisen and unceasing original mind is real, but we mistakenly think it is illusory. This is why there is a reversal between the real and the false, between right and wrong, between good and evil. When we clearly understand this truth, we will know what to do and what not to do, and no longer waste time on vain fantasies. The method for recognizing this is to raise awareness through each stage. To awaken oneself, through practice and experience, every event we encounter, whether good or bad, every person we come into contact with, whether good or bad, comes to help us perfect ourselves. Good or bad things, feelings of pain or joy, are all means for us to cultivate. Every practical problem you encounter is the best doorway for cultivation. It is your practice field. If you encounter difficulties and setbacks on the path of entrepreneurship, then that entrepreneurship itself is your practice field. If there is separation in the relationship between husband and wife, then nurturing the relationship is your practice field. If you encounter problems in teaching your children, then educating your children is your practice field. If you encounter health problems, then facing birth and death is your practice field. Every affliction is a practice field. Every time an emotion arises is a practice field. Every time you are afraid is also a practice field. The practice field is not far away, it is in all the pain in your life. In the moments when you want to explode. In the moments when you cannot be patient any longer. When a person realizes that everything they need must be created by themselves and given to themselves. At that moment, they have awakened. Awakening is to train the ability to see through the nature and truth of things. To be able to peel away each layer of external manifestation to see the truth inside. When that happens, you will have the ability to see through people's hearts and understand the nature of things. To see the truth in what is false. When that time comes, the things you desire will naturally come to you. The kindred spirit. If you understand these 4 lines in the Diamond Sutra, I hope you will share them with many others, helping them to awaken. This is truly immeasurable merit. The pinnacle of wisdom of Mahayana Buddhism. The Diamond Sutra is revered as the mother of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The giver of wisdom. All the holy ones rely on it. From ancient times until now. From the Buddhist community to secular society. From royalty to ordinary people. All have extremely revered this most magnificent scripture of human wisdom. Grandmaster Nan Y Chen, in his role as an emissary of the Dharma, deeply studied the Diamond Sutra. For ordinary people, the Diamond Sutra is not easy to understand, but through Nan Laoshi's explanations, the scripture becomes incredibly miraculous and profound. Next, we will share 8 truths about life that were explained by Nan Laoshi from the Diamond Sutra, hoping to help those who have the affinity to feel the great power of this scripture. Truth number 1. Your mental landscape determines your environment. When a person truly attains enlightenment, they no longer have a concept of time. The Diamond Sutra teaches, past mind is unattainable. Present mind is unattainable. Future mind is unattainable. Time is only a relative concept. In reality, time can be 10,000 years in a thought. A thought in 10,000 years. There is no ancient or modern. No going or coming. As the ancient poem says, the wind and moon have no ancient or modern, emotional feelings are themselves deep or shallow. The sun, moon, wind, mountains, and rivers are always the same. The sky and clouds that the ancients saw are the same sky and clouds that we see today and will also be what people in the future see. However, the feelings when seeing the scenery are different. A happy person sees the beautiful scenery and is happy, while a suffering person feels sad when seeing the same scenery. All of that is created by each person's state of mind. Whether it is Confucianism, Buddhism, or Taoism, or any other religion, all methods of human cultivation revolve around 3 words: manage mind thoughts. Take good care of your thoughts every time you initiate a thought. You need to observe and control your thoughts well. The mind of sentient beings is constantly changing, like time and the physical world, never standing still, never being able to be held. Therefore, past mind is unattainable. Present mind is unattainable. Future mind is unattainable. When we just mention the future, it has already become the present. When we are talking about the present, it has already turned into the past. This phenomenon cannot be grasped. All feelings and perceptions are also the same. But sentient beings do not understand this. Always trying to hold onto things that cannot be held. Wanting something to exist forever, isn't that unreasonable? Truth number 2. Self-reliance brings heavenly assistance. Buddha is not an authority or an all-powerful being who dominates everything. Buddha is present in the heart of every person. Therefore, learning Buddhism is not superstition, but returning to right faith. Right faith is self-awareness, self-awakening, attaining enlightenment by oneself, becoming a Buddha by oneself. That is the true spirit of learning Buddhism. If you think that you only need to light incense and pray a few times for everything to go smoothly, then that is superstition. If you only seek protection from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas without making your own efforts, then frankly speaking, the Buddhas will not help you solve those trivial matters. But the Buddhas will show you how to protect and save yourself. This is completely consistent with the spirit of Eastern culture, self-reliance and self-strengthening. Taking oneself as the foundation, seeking more blessings oneself, helping oneself, and then heaven helps, helping oneself, and then others help. In other words, you must help yourself first, and then the Buddhas will help you. Otherwise, if people do bad things and then quickly run before the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to pray and say sorry, hoping to be forgiven, then that is impossible. Truth number 3. The mind is like a bright mirror. Understanding life like a dream. The so-called mind of the Tathagata is like a bright mirror that is always cleaned. Without subjective preoccupations, without judgment or punishment, when things come, the mirror will reflect those things. When joy, sorrow, anger, and hatred come, the mirror will reflect those emotions. But when things pass, the mirror returns to its clear state, without retaining anything. The great poet of the Song dynasty, Su Dongpo, was a practitioner of Zen. His poetry and writings reached a profound realm, harmonizing with Buddhist teachings. He has a famous line: "People are like autumn maple leaves arriving with news, departing like spring dreams without a trace. All things, once past, are like a spring dream. People in spring often sleep a lot and dream a lot. But when they wake up, those dreams cannot be held onto at all, leaving no trace. Life is originally like a big dream. Everything that passes is like the river flowing east, gone and never returning." When someone truly understands that life is like a spring dream, leaving no trace, then they no longer need to bother studying the Diamond Sutra. Truth number 4. Fragile happiness. Everyone has it, but few grasp it. Life in the mortal world is fame and wealth. Having fame and wealth is called enjoying crimson blessings, and not having fame and wealth but living peacefully and quietly is called serene blessings. Crimson blessings easily make people desire them, but serene blessings are different. People without wisdom often don't dare to enjoy serene blessings. When they get old, people should be able to enjoy serene blessings, but most of them feel pain, because when there is nothing to do, they don't know how to live well. Many people, when they can enjoy serene blessings, make themselves sad, thinking negatively and getting sick. They fear loneliness, fear the scene of having nothing to do, not knowing how to continue living. Therefore, when they reach retirement age, instead of living comfortably, they make themselves miserable with feelings of emptiness. So, what is true blessing? It is purity, non-action, a soul no longer burdened by afflictions, neither happy nor sad, neither gain nor loss, neither glory nor shame, not distinguishing between opposing sides, always maintaining a state of absolute peace. That is the highest blessing. Everyone has happiness. Everyone has moments of tranquility. But when idle and at home all day, many people feel sad, even shedding tears because of the feeling of being forgotten by society. They fear being despised by others, worry that no one will visit, no one will call to ask how they are, no one will send an invitation or a call to inquire. It is this fear that prevents them from truly enjoying the peaceful moments that they deserve. Oh, I am so miserable. This is the situation of having blessings but not knowing how to enjoy them. Is true happiness so hard to find? Actually, it's very easy, but when people attain blessings, they don't know how to enjoy them, bringing trouble upon themselves. Truth number 5. Imperfection is reality. In this world full of imperfections, no one has a perfect life because the Saha world that the Buddha spoke of is a world with many shortcomings. Therefore, keeping a little imperfection is a good thing. In his later years, Zheng Guofan also deeply understood this. The name of his reading room was Seeking Imperfection Studio, meaning seeking shortcomings. Everything, if too perfect, will become frightening. He wanted to keep a little imperfection, because in this world, those with blessings often lack wisdom, and those with wisdom often lack blessings. Those who are widely knowledgeable often have few blessings, while those who are lucky often have little knowledge. Gaining on one side means losing on the other. That is the law of nature. Truth number 6. Truth is formless. For example, electricity. When you turn on the switch for a lamp or fan, electricity flows through, but we cannot see the electricity. We can only feel the light and wind. Electricity comes or doesn't come, and yet it's like it hasn't come. Electricity goes. But it's like it hasn't gone. Electricity is neither born nor dies. The so-called Tathagata is also the expression of inherent mind nature. That phenomenon is called a form in the Buddhist scriptures, or a mind form, which is the state when mind nature begins to take effect. Therefore, what the Buddhist scriptures say are only descriptions of form states. When cultivation reaches that state, the mind becomes as still as the void, as if it is not shaking at all, seemingly not moving but not actually motionless. Because if it is truly motionless, then it is no different from a dead object. Truth number 7. Not longing for afflictions can eliminate afflictions. Where do thoughts come from and where do they go? There is no place they come from and no place they go to. That is the clear Tathagata. So why do you bother paying attention to your thoughts? When they come unexpectedly. When they go, they also go unexpectedly. Why do you want to eliminate delusions? Delusions are originally empty. You cannot hold onto them. You cannot get rid of them. Who can hold onto their thoughts forever? We need to constantly observe our afflicted mind nature. It neither comes nor goes. Neither arises nor ceases. When a thought has just disappeared, that is called cessation. When a new thought appears, that is called arising. Everything that arises will inevitably cease. But after ceasing, is it truly lost? No, it is not completely lost but is arising, ceasing, reincarnation. Arising and then ceasing. Ceasing and then arising, like waves on the water. The waves keep surging endlessly. When one wave disappears, new waves arise again. We use all sorts of cultivation methods because we want to flatten the waves in our mind. But even if we can flatten the waves, so what? Flat or not flat, the essence is all water. So what is the point of trying? Isn't trying to flatten them just bringing trouble upon oneself? Truth number 8. Time and space are relative. We often say that life is like a dream. But does that mean that the dream doesn't exist? No, although the dream is illusory, it is completely real during the process. For the dreamer, time and space in the dream are relative. Just like life. That is why understanding the relativity of time and space, we will no longer be too attached to what has passed or what has not yet come but will know to cherish the present as a natural flow that cannot be held onto. This concept, this thought is wrong. The dream is not non-existent, but the dream is random, temporary, and partial. When people sleep, they will dream. Sometimes dreaming from childhood to adulthood, experiencing so many events and then finally passing away, waking up with tears wetting the pillow. In the dream, time passes for decades, but in reality, it may only be a few short seconds. Time and space in the dream are relative. Einstein also realized that time and space are relative. For example, when we live on Earth for half a month, it is only one night on the Moon. 1 year in this world is equal to 1 day and night on the Sun. On some other planets, we live for 100 years. But there it is only 1 day and night. 1 day and night for humans is millions of lifetimes for tiny microorganisms. Arising and then ceasing, ceasing and then arising. Going through countless cycles of reincarnation. Therefore, time and space on any planet in the universe are relative. What Nan Lao Shi shared about the 8 great truths of life that the Diamond Sutra reveals are not only the essence of the wisdom of this scripture but also a beacon on our path of cultivation. Right from the beginning of the Diamond Sutra, the Buddha set a model example for us. He personally wore his robes, carried his bowl to beg for food, and after eating, he personally washed his feet that were covered in mud. Then he personally found a place to sit, arranged it neatly, wiped the seat clean, and sat down upright. No one prepared anything for him in advance, he did everything himself. The so-called cultivation. The Diamond Sutra has already explained it all right from the start. Living properly, working honestly, not doing evil, specializing in doing good, that is cultivation. Thank you for watching until the end. If today's sharing has brought something useful to you, please leave a like so that I know that you have received value from this content. Every sharing is immeasurable merit. May you always be at peace on the path of seeking truth in this chaotic world. May the light of wisdom illuminate the road ahead, helping you and I find our own land of tranquility.